Hi everyone! Next project which I selected from Australian Animals book by Selina Fenwick is called Grey-Headed Flying Foxes with Lily Pilly. Usually I am not a huge fan of bats, but this variety of fruit bats look not frightening but quite cute and adorable, and I decided that I want to color them. They have interesting colors and quite fluffy fur, but I will be coloring them in the second part. In this video I will be doing lily pilly berries. I googled them, of course, and I discovered that berries have a very pleasant bright pink color, and with their dark green leaves and small fluffy flowers, the whole bush or maybe small tree looks quite spectacular. Before I started to actual coloring of this picture, I did some preliminary color planning because I had to decide which colors I would like to use for the background. Here background is empty, so I need to invent something, and I decided that as bats are nocturnal, I can create a background imitating sky at dusk time using various purple, blue and pink colors, and if I use the same pink which I will be using for coloring berries, in the end it will help me to create very well balanced color composition on the picture. I hope that it will work well in the end, but for now let's color berries. To do berries, I selected 3 shades of almost the same color. I use light purple pink, middle purple pink and magenta. You know that when you color berry, you need to follow rules of shading on the sphere. You need to imagine where is your source of the light. As usual, I imagine that mine is somewhere in the left upper corner, but here we don't have a very bright source of the light. As I said, the whole picture have to be nocturnal, so highlights on the glossy surface of the berry don't have to be very bright and prominent. They won't be having very sharp lines, so you just need to create color gradient from lighter pink to slightly darker pink, and to pay more attention to the areas where berries are pressed together. In those areas you need to put darker colors, because one berry will be casting shadow on the berries which are behind it. I also divided all berries here into 2 groups. I decided that to color all of them in the same way will be quite boring, so I thought that maybe some berries are quite young, they are not fully ripe, and in this way they will be green with little addition of pink. For the not very ripe berries, I love to use Prismacolor Pale Sage. So it's the only one Prismacolor pencil which I used for this picture, and for the rest I used Polychromos only. From my previous experience with coloring guana, I discovered that maybe polychromoses are better choice for me to do small elements like I have here, all those small berries and small leaves. With harder pencils it's slightly easier, and besides I simply love purple pink colors in Polychromos set. They have very nice variety. When I color berries, first I do shading from light purple pink, then middle purple pink as a mid-tone, and magenta to indicate shadows in the shadow parts of the berries, and also in the places where they are pressed one to another. But to do completely pink berries looks a little bit unnatural, so that's why I will be adding a light touch of red, of alizarin crimson, just on several berries. You know that when you look at varied berries on the bush, they will be having slightly different colors. Some are reddish, some are slightly more yellowish, so it's nice when you can add some additional color accents. In the beginning, I thought that I can use some cream color maybe on the highlighted areas, but then I remembered that it's not pictured during the daylight, that it's pictured during evening or even nighttime, so I don't need to add some yellow colors to indicate highlights from the sunlight. When I colored leaves, I wanted to make them really dark green. I thought that surrounded by dark green leaves, all berries will look more spectacular. And I decided to do a lighter green color near the tip of each leaf and darker green color near the base. First I thought that it will be enough for creating nice contrasts, but then I thought that in the very depths of the leaves, where they are closer to the berries or where they are partly covering one another, I need to do bigger contrasts to make this area even darker. So you will see that I will be using dark sepia for the additional shading, for doing very deep shadows. On this picture, I also tried to use my ivory Polychromos pencil in the capacity of blender. Here you can see how I work on highlighted uncolored areas. I make them softer with not so sharp edges. And this ivory created interesting effect. It added a little bit of cream tint into all the objects, and I like it. Where I lost some brightness of berries, I apply second layer of pink madder color. Also, I wanted to share with you small advice. Uh, when I color in the books by Selina Fenech, especially with harder pencils like Arteza or Polychromos, I tend to press too hard on the paper, and you know that paper is quite thin. So I put not a simple sheet of paper under my page to protect the rest of the book. I use plastic folders. They are more sturdier and they protect the rest of the book easier. I hope that you understand what I mean. It's transparent plastic folders for paper, and they are really helpful for me to protect the rest of the book. You can see part of this folder on the right near Polychromos pencils laying on the table. Well, I hope that you will find something helpful in this coloring of lily pilly berries, and of course I hope that you will join me in coloring gray-headed flying foxes. For me it was so interesting not only to color but also to read about another interesting Australian animals, Australian plants, so it's fun and also instructive. I thank you for watching and I hope to see you very soon.